Okay. It's a hammer, guys. That's all it is. It just makes noise. Okay. I'd like to call to order the Concord Township Council regular meeting for December. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight we have quite a bit of recognitions to make, and with holidays coming, it's always nice to congratulate people on accomplishments. So, anyway, we're going to start off. Mr. Muchler has a recognition of the BYC 9U football team, who are the IYFL champions. So, Larry, you want to take care of that, if you don't mind, please?
Absolutely. Brandywine Youth Club 2025 9U varsity football team. Concord Township Council proudly congratulate the Brandywine Youth Club 9U varsity football team on an extraordinary 2025 season. This talented group of young athletes demonstrated exceptional skill, dedication, and teamwork, achieving the remarkable accomplishments of winning the 2005 Independent Youth Football League Championship, bringing pride and honor to the community. The team completed an undefeated regular season, remaining unscored upon, and outscored their opponents by a combined 170 to 0. Sorry, don't want to make that mistake. The following players contributed to the historic season: Ambrosio, Stephen Carbone, Patrick Kubler, Gabe Gastino, Killian Deal, Connor Edelbutte, Connor Hogan, Ty Johnson, Mason Jwisty, Christian Kessler, Luke Larkin, Vinnie Martin, Mason Myers, Brandon Orr, J.J. Owens, Dominic Picchiotti, Braden Ratman, Austin Repine. This success was made possible through the leadership and dedication of quite a large coaching staff. Head coach Morty, Steve Jwisty, James Mike Picchiotti, employee of public work. So, Vin Anthony Rod, Tim Mark, Steve Blaze, Case Ed, Jim, of course, and Mike. There we go. The Council recognized the B varsity championship and for the principal accountability and then off the given this December 25, Concord Township, 3 Road, Pennsylvania.
That's the form of all by chair. We'd like for the coach. Question works with him. You make it. Going to take care of it.
I want to know the coordinator. We got to go for you.
Okay, guys. Free up. You got team B. Okay. But now, item on ignition of I think you recognition.
Yes, an addition of your ship to secure the same kill energy and in 20 batteries. Your parasol affords a land achievement in clean innovative solutions and delivers environment reducing by more than 4 metrically. Anthony relying on power plus your renewable impact responsible to highest state leadership as a move.
Second, all everybody saying here from this evening. All about 10. To be impressed. You want on there? Next recognition sword board TOS management. Benita, that one.
EC stands for Irania Fusion Operation. That and wins for Clay 8 alloy recognition program is ELA for system intelligence and implementing progress is formatting is for options point MD. The given in alter J is in water control for then for entity in profession third by years.
That's the last. 5% employee. Next, Libby Salvador, board member. We will be nation.
President, certificate Concord, Libby, East, and Liberty for the town and the board returning board before shortly collector. These previews include serving open space, the advisor strengthening for the wetlands, role, integralism, service. Libby's contributing impact. Concord Township is her move.
All in favor, say aye. Could not that the short hearing board. Somebody here, I think she.
Yeah. The certificate of council Terry for faithfulness of since of 2 After more than of she has desire at the year, she an integral part recently with in town. Thank her profession and many serve Concord. Terry's work, dedication, conduct our council wishes to helping retire. December township personally at Terry 2000. Then went into the sewer of when was the same word over again. He is wonderful emotion.
Well, glad I think I will department or monitor use and plugging. You will not only 4 minutes, but see your smile. Said we have parting gifts. All in favor? It occurred to me, all your years here, everything just always flowed downhill. Get it? All right, this next one is another one. We're losing a valued member of the Concord family. John?
Why can't I find it? Yeah.
This is a form of resolution, right?
Yes. This is a resolution recognizing Colleen P. Marone for her outstanding and dedicated public service to Concord Township and Delaware County. Whereas Colleen P. Marone has exemplified a strong and enduring commitment to public service, contributing over 2 decades to the betterment of Concord Township and Delaware County. And whereas Ms. Marone was first appointed to the Concord Township Planning Commission in July of 1999, where she brought a thoughtful and collaborative approach to community development, and whereas in January 2004, Colleen became the first woman elected to the Concord Township Board of Supervisors in the town's 320-year history, serving with distinction through 2011, including as vice chairperson from 2008 to 2011. And whereas in January of 2012, she was elected to the Delaware County Council, serving honorably through 2019 and strengthening county municipal relationships while promoting responsible governance. And whereas from 2014 to 2018, Colleen also served as Concord Township Vacancy Board Chair, ensuring continuity and stability in township government. And whereas in November 2020, Ms. Marone returned to municipal service as a member of the Concord Township Council, continuing to serve with integrity, insight, and dedication. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Concord Township Council, on behalf of the residents of Concord Township, expresses sincere appreciation and gratitude to Ms. Colleen P. Marone for her outstanding leadership, long-standing dedication, and many contributions to the community. Moved and resolved, 2nd day of December, 2025. Just a few words in addition to that. I've known Colleen from when she first came on. I think I preceded her by a little bit on the Planning Commission, and all the years that she was here as Township Supervisor and Township Council person, and all the tremendous grants that we received from the County of Delaware for her presence on the County Council. So I know I truly will miss her leadership and motivation and a lot of words that I just can't think of right now, but I'm going to miss you.
I will second that motion, and I probably will second those accolades that you gave Colleen. I think I was on the Board of Supervisors when we appointed Colleen to the Planning Commission, and it's been great. Craig, you got something you want to say?
Thank you, Mr. President. I felt turn so I can address Colleen and the community. Thank you for entertaining me tonight on this very important evening as we celebrate Ms. Marone. My family moved here, Concord, in 2006, and almost right away, Colleen was one of those who welcomed our family to this community. Our children grew up together. We went to BYC together. I don't think an event, Colleen, where we didn't see you as a family member, a fellow customer of Wawa. I think that's where we caught up the most was in Wawa. I've been your constituent for a long time. I've run for public office under your leadership. I'm about to repeat many of the same pieces of your history that John just read because I think it's very important that the community hear over and over again how well and how magnificently you have served us selflessly. I was driving over this evening thinking about my remarks. I often contextualize it to my Marine Corps career because so much of what I've seen in your public service I see in my fellow Marines. A sense of duty to your community, a sense of duty to people, giving of yourself, not only here to Concord Township, but in your profession. If I read your dates correct, 1999, 26 years of service to our community, and beyond that, if you count your professional life. I often say about you, and I want to say it to you, that you are a leader while being empathetic. You are concerned while being strong. And the thing that I most admire about you is that you have to earn your trust and your loyalty. And then once you have your loyalty, you're fierce about it. You become our lioness. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being our lioness in Concord Township. And with that, I'd like to read you a citation from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the House of Representatives citation. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania is always pleased to acknowledge those individuals who, through their dedicated civic endeavors and professional excellence, contribute to the well-being of their communities and ultimately to all the people of the Commonwealth. And whereas Colleen is being honored in her December 31st, 2025 retirement from the Concord Township Council, concluding a career in public service spanning 26 years. And whereas a graduate of Wilmington University with a bachelor's degree in business management, Ms. Marone began her career at an entry-level position with Goodwill of Delaware and Delaware County in 1991 and rose through the ranks to become the president and chief executive officer. A member of the Township Planning Commission from 1999 until 2003, she was elected to the Concord Township Board of Supervisors the following year. Re-elected in 2010, Ms. Marone served through 2011 and held the position of vice president for 3 years. To her credit, she is lauded as the first woman to be elected to the Concord Township Board of Supervisors. From 2012 to 2018, Ms. Marone was a member of the Delaware County Council, where she served as a liaison to the County Office of Workforce Development, Department of Intercommunity Health, and the Delaware County Library System. A past chair of Concord Township Vacancy Board, she was appointed as a member of the Concord Township Council in 2020 and elected again to the position 2 years later. And now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania congratulates Colleen Marone upon her well-deserved retirement, proudly notes her exemplary record of service and contributions in keeping with the highest ideals of this Commonwealth, offers her best wishes for the continuation of her many worthwhile and beneficial endeavors, and directs a copy of the citation to be delivered to her, signed by me and the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
All in favor of approving Colleen's? Now, if we say no, she has to stick with it. Approving the resolution on Colleen. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Kyle, let's go down here and get this done. All right. Well, that means there's hope for you coming back. You get rocks.
I'd like to spend with Colleen an exam nation participate of these month because on sausage making. Colleen has always been one to pay attention to details and ask very thoughtful questions that help to refine the work that we do here. One of the main things that I think we are all grateful for, but don't realize it in this community, is the work that Colleen has put into things like the Design Review Committee and the aesthetics, including all of our black light poles and decorative light fixtures that line Baltimore Pike and things like that. Those are the types of elements that help to make our community a better place, even though we don't always think of them. And so I just want to say thank you, Colleen, for all that you've done.
Very well said.
I do want to also take this moment to acknowledge the contributions and impact that Colleen has made, not just on the community, but also on me. She has been an amazing leader, Colleen, and I'm thankful to have learned a lot from you the past 5 years that I've been with you. I want to mention a quote by Brian Tracy, who says, "Leaders think, talk about, followers talk about." And I say that Colleen thinks and talks solutions. She is the set to right now have pursued silently, just her seeing, speak. She thinks it was a learning path for me today, and amazing, and I wish for endeavor.
I was there. I'll never forget the Concordville, and John mentioned the design standards and how you were so excited at doing that. You said it was like, playing with a house, but it was really big because you could pick the color materials, stuff like that. Your dedicated has made it when your woman treated so anymore. When to fill it up again. So, people of Delaware County, we're fortunate to have you move here from Delaware, and the people of Concord Township especially. We're lucky to have you move here from Delaware. So I will move, my friend. We'll move on. Okay. Upcoming 5th Concord Day event in this building.
Yes, starting.
That was the new couch.
Wow.
The Christmas land event, 10th is planning zoning through also first day in the township close. 5th, the Oregon Public at 7.
Yeah, Monday, per rules.
Yeah, it has to be the first Monday unless the Monday's the holiday and then it gets bumped around. All right, it's public safety.
Thanks, and good. Based on the report, had sick and one advanced incident plus. We had a in both incident in the us and was done in as a fire needed get and for fighting that. There we walk route to will be compelled as resulted in to fire to a garage structure at fire. Was Ulster fire reported at Concord Country Club. The fire department responded to the dumpster fire that caused damage to fencing in the loading dock area. While we are enjoying our holiday season, here are a few reminders that I mention is often of holiday festivities, but it can be a source of fire as fire. If you off live, select fresh and bird water regularly, inspect decorations, check all lights and safety on the house. Avoid with that. Wish you all season of laugh moments. Thank you.
Open Recreation
Presidency Month for Parks and Rec Department, Veterans Day show earlier in the month, and then Veterans Ceremony at our Township Hero Memorial. The Town Committee was presentation at the Birdtown, Pennsylvania Fall Summit, which was quite an honor for us to be able to present there. Our last event of the year is the bus trip to Lancaster coming up next week to see Deck the Halls of the American Music Theater with lunch at Miller's Smorgasbord. Some tickets still remain. But I'd like to highlight that as we close out the year, the Parks and Rec Department was able to raise 25% of their budget from sponsorships this year, which is outstanding. In 2025, our Concord Township hosted 60 events for the year with an attendance of 8,200 people. So there's quite an accomplishment for our Parks and Rec Department, and I'd like to thank them for all their hard work.
Thank you. Building Code Enforcement, Colleen. No, I'm sorry, Sewer and Public Works, John Gillespie. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the sewer operations report, they checked and maintained all pump stations 3 times a week, operated and maintained both sewer plants daily, and on capital projects, work began on the fire suppression system for the control building at the main plant. And finally, on the 14th, we attended the final meeting of one of our biggest organizations, where we received 3 awards for Operation Excellence in both operation and collect system safety. Township manager, as well as the finance manager and several board members attended the luncheon, along with the staff. Just an editorial, in all the years of my engineering and public works and sewer design projects, I'm very, very happy that we have our staff that we have today. The fellows are excellent, and it's very enjoyable working with you. On to Public Works. At the Piercewood House, the staff discovered a broken underground pipe during a building inspection, and they repaired the water service, installed new piping. In the winter maintenance, Public Works installed salt spreaders on all the fleet trucks in preparation for the upcoming winter season. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Building and Code Enforcement, Colleen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm pleased to give my final report on the building and zoning, one of the hardest working departments we have here at the township. In the month of November, we issued 90 total permits throughout the month of November. We issued 34 certificate of occupancy. Just of note, 85 final COs have been issued at the Pulte Spring Lake neighborhood. And the Encompass project continues with construction, and they are anticipating finals in early February of 2026. And the Newland Grist Mill train station project construction continues. That is my final report.
Thank you, Colleen. We'll have that bronzed and sent. No. Planning Commission, Larry.
Concord Township Planning Commission activities for November. The Planning Commission agenda meeting was held on November 10th, along with the public meeting being held on November 17th. Plans up for recommendation tonight to council. Both are on our agenda. We have the Covenant Fellowship Church Chapel and the Ed Ferreira 814 Shavertown Road, 3-lot preliminary major subdivision. New projects coming down the pipeline. We have the German Adriana preliminary final 2-lot subdivision, which was assigned to Chris Markland and Jeff Santalari. And other news, when it comes to Concord Acquisitions LLC, Shops at Concord project was granted an extension through February 28th, 2026 for land development and conditional use applications. That's while the project goes through zoning. Scheduled for the month, as stated earlier. Agenda meeting will be on the 8th, and the public meeting will be on the 15th, and that's all for planning.
Thank you. Solicitor, Mr. Donahue.
Yes, with respect to the Concord Ventures litigation, there'll be a status conference before Judge Whalen tomorrow at 9:30. Pennswood Winery matter that's on appeal. A status conference has been scheduled, I believe it's with Judge Eckel, for January 23rd of 26th. And as previously mentioned, December 17th, the Zoning Hearing Board will be meeting, at which time the Shops at Ridge will be appealing the township's determination that they need zoning relief with respect to 2 aspects of their project. Thank you.
And Mr. Donohue, we would like you to be attending that zoning hearing board meeting with regard to the Ridge Road project.
Well, I intend to be there, and the township, we have engaged an expert to also testify on the township's behalf.
All right, thank you.
Township Engineer, Nate.
No non-agenda items tonight.
Come back anytime. Township Manager, Amanda.
Okay, I just want to say a couple things. One, you saw us up here chatting. We're having a bandwidth issue. I cannot win some evenings, but we are having a bandwidth issue on the live, so I want it noted. We've had a couple of our staff members say, hey, we're not able to see the picture very clearly. So we are recording it. We hope that the file will be able to upload appropriately, but I'm having a bandwidth issue, which is the internet coming into the building. So just FYI for anyone who's watching at home, and when we upload the file, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I'm hoping it will pass. On a note, it's the end of the year. I just really want to say thank you so much to our amazing works. These are extreme. I have who working with butters and all types of beyond great tonight, and say a lot bye to her about being she is and irreplaceable. She and I will have conversations to begged her to stay. The thing that I can. Also, super proud of our sewer team. I've got Jim Saunders here, who helms our small but group and has a lot of responsibility. And these guys have continued to and exceed expectations. And I'm beyond grateful to work with such an amazing, smart team of individuals. So I just want to point that out. He and John Rapp well lead, and it's very exciting. They're doing great things, and we're winning awards, and it's really nice to be a part of that. So thank you so much. And with that, I am good. Thanks.
Okay. Citizen comment, anyone with any comments regarding anything on the agenda or other issues before the township? I guess I'll move the dais over here, or the podium, rather. We'll need your name and address, please. How are you?
Mark Vantrias, 40 Watkin Avenue, Chatsford, PA. I just have a question with the development behind Watkin Avenue. I don't know if anything's going on because a couple weeks ago, the survey team came down Watkin Avenue, all the corners, everything, left and right, all the way down the street. I was pulling in the other day, the Colonial Pipeline was restaking their pipeline through the field. I was talking to them guys, they said, we're just restaking it out. They put wooden stakes and yellow flags through the field. I don't know if the township knows if anything's going on.
At the Concord Ventures parcel,
I guess that's what it's called.
you just reported?
Sure. There's a status conference before Judge Whalen tomorrow. The town and the developer have been discussing a possible resolution. The parties, all the parties involved, are invited to tomorrow's status conference. So more to report after the status conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's other people in the neighborhood who are on the party thing. I'm
Right.
not.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
You got it.
Anyone else?
Trying to get an update on the housing development, Governor Markham Drive, 155, to see.
Where?
155, Governor Markham Drive.
Anything further?
Is there a specific question, or?
Yeah, wondering if you guys, anybody come out and check the retention plan yet? Like,
Yeah, so at the last meeting in October, or I guess it was November, per council's direction, we collected the residents as well as Gillespie and Dominic Pledgy. We met on site on November 13th with, I believe, at least 6 adjacent property owners. At time, we clarified some of the plan requirements regarding county and DEP permitting as well as landscaping. We then followed up with the developer regarding some of the various complaints, trash collection, things of that nature. The Conservation District issued a report, which I then shared with the residents, and is scheduled back on site December 11th or 12th to follow up on their inspection items from their report that was completed. I believe that was after our site meeting, so.
okay. Because today, the retention plan was full.
Well, I would expect it to be within.
The sewer, or was it? The drain was clogged the street, and it was just going all across the street.
Yeah, so there's a temporary inlet cover that's required on the drain in the street. So that is going to get clogged or filled up in storm events. We had probably, give or take almost an inch of rain in this area today. I would assume that if I drive by right now, it's probably clear. But I assume if I drove by at 12 o'clock today, it was probably clogged up. The drain, the stormwater basins, they're required by the DEP to drain within 72 hours after the completion of a rain event. So again, if that's not happening, the developer will be required by the DEP and the township to remediate that. It's possible that it might not happen until the spring, as I discussed at that meeting that you were at on the 13th, but we'll continue to monitor in the meantime.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Anyone else? Karis, how are you?
Thanksgiving. Is there a time limit of 3 minutes, 5 minutes? I don't know.
Try to keep it, I like 30 seconds.
December the 15th, 2 weeks from today, will be Bill of Rights Day. This will be the 234th anniversary of the Bill of Rights. And I have here, I wanted to just pull out some of the comment from this is the 1854 edition commissioned by the United States Senate that contained the Constitution and various other limited, but mostly the purpose was to have an inexpensive copy of the Constitution that the senators could pass out to their constituents throughout the country, feeling that a knowledge of that document was the greatest guard for the preservation of our union, our country, our liberties. And there were just some really, I won't read all of them, but I will read some of them. It opens in the preface with the Constitution as the fireside companion of the American citizen. I think it's time for us to return to that and be reacquainted to where it's our fireside companion. It's regrettable that even many office holders, I'm not going to ask for a raise of hands, have not read through the Constitution entirely, even once, let alone annually, which it should be at least. It speaks of James Madison. He said that to support the Constitution, which is the cement of the Union, as well in its limitations as in its authorities, and to favor the advancement of science and the fusion of information, including information, which there are quotes from him later about that document. They say every good citizen should possess a copy of the Constitution and be acquainted with it. And I would add our own Pennsylvania state Constitution as well. In the preface to this, they refer to the Constitution as the Great American Charter of Liberty. But without the individuals, the citizens, seeing and judging for themselves the limitations and the authorities of that document, then they are passing off secondhand to someone else and trusting them, whereas it's the duty of every citizen to be informed about what that document authorizes and prevents. It says that this author, in his preface, urges that the Americans should have an attachment to the Constitution, that it will be, as in the highest sense, that Constitution is the palladium of American liberty, so that their judgment as well as their affections may be enlisted on the side of the Constitution as the truest security of the Union and the only solid basis on which to rest the private rights, the public liberties, and the substantial prosperity of the people composing the American Republic. It speaks of guarding the responsibility of the people to guard the inestimable rights that they enjoy. And it says, who can preserve the rights and liberties of the people when they shall be abandoned by the people themselves? Who will keep watch when the watchmen sleep at their post? America, free, happy, and enlightened as she is, must rest the preservation of her rights and liberties upon the virtue, the independence, the justice, and the sagacity of the people. And he does make reference here, I don't see it, about the Constitution was written for the homegrown folk. It was not written in high language that required someone to interpret it or to explain it. It was written in the plain sense for the people to understand. The enjoyment of liberty and even its support and preservation consists in every man's being allowed to speak his thoughts and lay open his sentiments. I'll conclude this portion of my remarks with quotes from James Madison, who spoke of the Constitution, and these are his own words. The cement of the Union, as well as its limitations as in its authorities, to respect the rights and authorities reserved to the states and to the people. Not surprising that James Madison, who framed those words in the 9th and 10th Amendments, which he authored in 1789, and now he as president is making reference to it. He said, in my confidence, this will be the best, my confidence will be placed in what above all else we've been encouraged to feel in the guardianship and guidance of the almighty being whose power regulates the destiny of nations, whose blessings have been so conspicuously dispensed to this rising republic, and to whom we are bound to address our devout gratitude for the past, as well as our fervent supplication and our best hopes for the future. The protection and liberty of the United States of America is a duty which they who enjoy it owe to themselves, to their ancestors who transmitted it down, and to their posterity who claim it at their hands. This, the best birthright, the noblest inheritance of mankind. And on the matter of speaking freely our thoughts and the necessity of that being open for American citizens, I want to speak to an issue that's before the zoning board at their last hearing on November the 19th. And what agenda 2, construction and the parking, Woody, please pardon anyone, point us request, another larger for increase and discussion. There had been an application and currently seeking an increase of parking spaces up to 38. The existing house, which has served as their worship, the center of their community, their worship and so forth, will then serve as the home of their leader and the proposed building will serve for the worship and other events of the community. You may know, you may not. I have, let me give these right here. There are 4 here. I would like to send it to you by email. There are links in the article, which then you would be able to go to and check out for yourself. But this location in our community serves as the headquarters for all persons of that Islamic community from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh and includes some of the state of Delaware. This is by their own statements on their own website. And I am concerned, my concerns are threefold. First of all, the impact of an increase in the use of this property and the enlargement to enable more persons to be there in the midst of this residential community at one time. What will that impact have on the neighbors there? The property is in an area zoned R2, and I understand that there are religious worship exemptions or provisions within the ordinance, but considering that property, there is, it's located on the southeast corner where Smithbridge Road goes under Conchester Highway. And it, see on the map, and let's see here, one copy. You can see how close the residences are to this, which will be a bustling community, and particularly my concern is during the time of Ramadan. This is the 8 to 30-day festival where there is fasting. I'm sure you're acquainted with it, fasting through the day, and then after sundown, there is community feasting and so forth. How will this impact a community that claims 60 families? And at the zoning hearing board, the gentleman said, well, they won't all be there. I understand that, but they're wanting 38 spots, so let's say, even if in this tight area, I am concerned about the impact on the neighborhood, particularly during the time of Ramadan. I have no objections whatsoever to having persons of that faith living as residents in my community, but I'm strongly, very concerned about that becoming a larger worship center community. My second concern is about the negation of our Bill of Rights by Sharia law. The Dawoodi Bohra community states their obedience and submission to Sharia law. There has been a House Resolution 5512 introduced into the United House called the Sharia Law Act, and this has become necessary because of various communities throughout the United States which have been, in a sense, they're enacting and making local and county and municipal decisions based on Sharia law rather than American constitutional law and the Bill of Rights. And this is very concerning. Section 2 of that act reads that the Constitution of the United States is and must remain the supreme law of the land, that no foreign law or system be permitted to undermine it. That it attempts to apply foreign law, including religious or international code. American courts risk constitutional, particularly in matters of family law, contract law, and civil rights. And saving constitutional rights is especially urgent in cases involving women, children, and vulnerable populations who face coercion or unequal treatment under foreign legal systems. While individuals are free to practice their religion and observe per codes voluntarily, the United States courts must not enforce or give effect to laws that conflict with fundamental liberties guaranteed by our Constitution. And this act is necessary to reaffirm and to protect the rights of all citizens by ensuring that only American laws govern American courts. And I have a third concern pertaining to the women of that community and a practice that is common, has been throughout the world, commonly practiced. Very detrimental. I will not go into detail here, but you may be aware of what I'm speaking of. But it is an unbelievable practice that is a violation of the autonomy of the individual before they are of age to make a personal choice in the matter. So I urge you, and the zoning board said that they under their decision at their next hearing, which is December the 17th. I don't know when do they meet to discuss what they're going to do. In the meantime, is that open to the public? Should those discussions be open as well? And then my understanding is it from that board to this board. for your decision as to whether or not to approve these variances.
I'm going to ask my solicitor for some help here, but you are correct. It is before the zoning hearing board asking various zoning reliefs. They're a separate autonomous board from the elected board right now. So they will decide on whether they approve it as written, amend it, or deny it. Based on that, that would be the zoning decision moving forward regarding the piece of ground. I also assume that since there might be some construction and some parking lots, it will come before this board for land development approval. But the zoning issue would probably be resolved at the zoning hearing board level, if I'm not mistaken. Is that pretty much where we're at?
That's correct. The zoning hearing board is a quasi-judicial body, so they, they do deliberate privately. The vote is usually taken publicly, okay? But this board cannot necessarily override the decisions of the zoning hearing board. They're an
They
independent.
cannot?
They cannot.
No.
Oh dear, I did not know that.
We do have the right to appeal
To
a
appeal it,
decision
yeah.
Okay,
to the Commonwealth Court.
all right.
To court
The
common pleas.
decision, Court of Common Pleas. But a decision has to be made first for us to decide whether we want to join in or not.
All right. So I will send each of you the letter that has the links, and I will
Please.
send it also to the members of the zoning board. And I hope that you will then, whatever concerns you may have as a result of this, that you would, but I think just being in the residential neighborhood, it's hard for me to imagine that this kind of an enlargement of that community would be permitted.
Yeah.
And then also, those other concerns stand, and as I said, Bill of Rights Day is December the 15th. So,
Okay.
Colleen, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Anyone else?
Gene Goebel, 7 Quaker Lane. I was hoping to get some clarification on a comment that was made at last month's budget hearing about why this building doesn't pay the sewer organization when they connect, since the general fund and the sewer fund are separate entities with different taxpayers associated.
I can address, Gene.
Thank you.
So that project, so Bill sort of didn't realize the mechanism. So when we did that project, we had the township EDUs listed. It was a joint project between water and sewer. It was a water and a sewer project as it got done, which our time Concord Road North, you saw water and sewer. What happened is we initially talked about it. Now we just literally connected. So what we were doing when I had talked to Terry about the 2 budgets, that we would look at the 2 projects, get to the end, see what the costs were, and instead of having do drums, we would just literally say, okay, if they're about the same, which they were at the time that it was bid, that one would be water, and sewer would cover the sewer, versus just having the same money washed back and forth. We just finished up that project. We will be looking at that. I will be talking to that with council. And if there's any money owed or anything, it will be a due from on either side. So yes, we are essentially paying those EDUs. And those EDUs, which are really great, also help to spread out for everybody in that user area to make that goal.
I'm sorry.
You asked question, sorry. You asked the question
Right,
to
so
us about the
from the general
EDUs
fund,
in the
money should
sewer
go
fund.
to the
Yes.
sewer.
And that project was bid as
Okay.
2 things, water and sewer.
Okay,
So
I'm
it's,
not interested in that
Yeah.
denomination. That just was
Yep.
struck
So
me
it will be
strange when I
fulfilled.
heard and
Yes.
Why did we pay? So what other township properties are connected to public sewer?
So right now, this campus is.
Is this the only one? Like,
Yep.
does the township own the old or the library where?
Nope, the library is its own entity. Nope. So it's here, it's this whole campus, basically.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move right on in the agenda. Next item is the consent agenda, which includes the following items. One would be the approval of the council public meeting minutes of November 5th, 2025. Dana, we had to pay some bills. I think you'll handle that, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So the total expenditures was $1,354,615.52. That consists of November payroll, which was $202,870.23. Current bills, which is $626,420.03, and our sewer bills at $525,325.26.
Gillespie, we have some certificates of payments and an authorization to advertise for bids.
Yes, we do. There are 4 certificates for payment. First one being a second payment to Juric Inc., which will be a final payment for the sewer ultraviolet disinfection upgrade in the amount of $199,368.90. Next one is certificate number 1, which also is a final payment to Stonewood Landscaping Inc. for the Carter Way Stream Bank restoration in the amount of $131,300. Next one, certificate number 2 to U Lofting Timber Framing for the barn preservation at the Bush Hill Farm in the amount of $144,333. And the last one is certificate number 3 to Guy M. Cooper Inc. for the sewer plant fire suppression system, the amount of $56,547. And also we have an authorization to advertise for bids for construction of a new salt shed for Public Works.
Okay, we also have the following appointments and resignations. We are accepting the resignation of Libby Salvucci from the Zoning Hearing Board. We will be appointing Rich Julison, who was an alternate member to the board, to the Zoning Hearing Board as Libby's replacement, his term to expire on February 6th of 2029. We will be reappointing to the Planning Commission's Chris Markland, term to expire April 1st of 2029. We will be reappointing Rita Trevidia to the Planning Commission, term to expire 5/1/28. And we will be appointing Libby Salvucci as the Deputy Tax Collector. We also have to accept as complete for filing a sketch plan application for GV Builders at 0 Baltimore Pike for, looks like, well, since it's sketch plan, it's non-binding, it's just for the comments of the Planning Commission. Looks like there's a vanilla and chocolate, there's 2 flavors there for them to discuss and see which they would be in the best interest of the township. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have the ARPA project update and the Octorara Trail update. I hand that over to Nate and/or Amanda, whoever wants to do what.
Sure, I can gladly say ARPA will no longer be on the budget, on the agenda I'm talking about. We just finished up the last project. You guys had that listed there. Super successful, did a lot of stormwater, which is great. We actually have an MS4, we have the DEP coming to talk with us in another week and meet with us and talk about projects like that. So I'm really proud and glad that council took that direction to take care of some unfunded mandates for us and get that knocked out for a good cause.
Okay. Next, Resolution 40 of 2025, which is the 2026 increase of tax mills for capital projecting and general purpose. Amanda, is Bill here with you? Or?
Yep, Bill is coming out because I just realized that what he printed was inaccurate that is in front of me.
So everybody's taxes are
Bill's
down?
doing that now. Everything online and everything is correct. For some reason, something just happened and an older file was printed. So he is going to correct that. But what I do have for you is some slides to count that as. Just give me 1 second. Let me just switch the camera so I can show that. And all the materials are correct. This physical, yes, all of that is correct. I'm sorry. It's
All
just
right,
the
it's a
budget.
resolution establishing an increase of millage rate for the 2026 budget for general purpose and capital project. Whereas Concord Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania operates under a home rule charter that provides the framework for the township's financial management and budgetary procedures end. Whereas Section 4.10 of the township's home rule charter, annual limits on property tax revenue, establishes restrictions governing increases in real estate tax revenues. And whereas after over a decade without any increase to the township general purpose millage rate, Township Council has determined that an adjustment for the 2026 fiscal year is necessary to ensure the continuation of the high-quality municipal operations, responsibly fund essential capital projects, and to sustain the continued delivery of vital public services to the community. And whereas in accordance with Section 4.10 of the Home Rule Charter, any increase exceeding 5% above the prior year's budget of real estate tax revenue requires the adoption of a resolution approved by an affirmative vote of a supermajority of council. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Concord Township, by supermajority vote, hereby sets the 2026 general purpose real estate tax millage rate of 0.4990, of which 0.1630 is to be transferred to the Capital Reserve Fund. We have a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Do we have a second? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess it counts as a supermajority?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Would you like me to go through this next part, or do you want to introduce the
Yeah,
ordinance?
I think
and
we
then-
will, or maybe I should read the ordinance
Yep,
first.
sure.
Next is an ordinance, as opposed to resolution 2026 Township Budget and 5-year Capital Plan. Whereas the Township of Concord, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, completed and published a proposed budget which includes all proposed expenditures and other uses, all anticipated revenues and other sources of income, and any unreserved funds to be used for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026. Whereas the Township Council pursuant to public notice did conduct a public hearing on November 11th, 2025, at which time the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2026 was discussed and considered. Whereas the total of all budgeted expenditures and other uses in the budget did not exceed the total of all budgeted revenues and all other sources of income, plus any unreserved income to be used as set forth in Exhibit A, which is incorporated herein and attached hereto. Whereas the proposed 2026 final budget as outlined in this ordinance establishes the 2026 real estate tax millage rate of 0.4990 for general purpose, of which 0.1630 is to be transferred to the Capital Reserve Fund, 0.0640 for library services, 0.0610 for fire hydrants, 0.1683 for fire protection services, and 0.1390 for open space, for a total real estate tax levy of 0.933 mils, as set forth, 9313 mils, as set forth in the aforementioned Exhibit A. Now therefore be resolved that the Council of Concord Township does hereby the budget for Concord Township for the fiscal year 2026, the fund level in its final form and content as set forth in the comprehensive budget documents attached titled Concord 26 Final Budget, copies of which are on file in the township offices, published on the township website. Do we have a motion to approve that?
Yes, I make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Colleen, did you have anything you wanted to add to this? Or do we
Colleen
call
or
the
Amanda?
roll?
We
Or
need
you
to-
have
Well,
one?
We need a
I
roll.
can. So we had a couple slides that explain changes.
Is everybody
If
okay
you'd
with
like me to go
looking at
through
the
that?
everybody okay with looking at the slide before we call the roll for the vote?
Yes.
Yes, okay,
Sure.
let's do it that way.
Sure, so basically what we talked through, all of this is leading from the hearing, and what was discussed at that time. And with everything that you just noted, basically what happens for the 2026 tax bill, the average resident assessment is that in the course of the year, the bill goes up $124 a year, or about $10 per month, based on what you just noted in the ordinance and the resolution. So that means that the average taxpayer in 2026 will pay $395 for the year. What that provides to us, while that doesn't sound like a lot, it is a lot. It provides to us the general purpose fund, so, great planning, very conservative resources. We haven't had a general purpose increase in over a decade. It's actually 15 years. Additionally, this allowed funding to come through the general fund and be appropriated to the Capital Reserve Fund, which has no dedicated funding. So it allowed that as well. And when you go to that and you look at your real estate tax dollar, I always like these slides. They're just very simple. So a resident in 2026 for Concord Township will pay $395 in a year for your county portion of that, which makes up 18%. According to, now the county hasn't finalized, this is what they have proposed in their millage. It's $1,954 a year. And for the school district, which is almost 80% of your tax bill, it's about $8,400 a year there. And that's sort of how your tax bill gets split up for the average residential assessment of $424,000.
I think it's also important to note that a portion of that is just going directly to the capital fund.
Yes.
To replenish that, so we can keep moving forward with the
100% to have some dedicated funding, and I have a little slide that.
The balance of it is, as with everyone else, our expenses are going up, just like everyone else's expenses
Exactly.
are going up.
Exactly.
Okay, so
And,
we-
go ahead.
No, you go. I know better than to talk to you. Go ahead.
No, no, no.
You sure?
I thought you wanted me to keep moving.
No, I wanted you to maybe just hold the roll of the vote so we won.
Okay. So this just explains very briefly where those dollars get apportioned, and then this was talking about the capital projects and the funding needs that we discussed earlier. We talked about ARPA and, M4 stormwater mandates. We have a lot of large projects, pedestrian safety project and things, and that's what is in that capital bucket. So that's all that I have, and with that, I'll call the roll call for the ordinance, if you're ready.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll start down with Larry. Councilmember Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Vanita Deshmukh, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Colleen Marone, how do you vote? Yes. Councilmember Dana Rankin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember John Gillespie, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember John Crossan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council President Dominic Pileggi, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, with that,
Okay, we're
unanimous.
good, right? So we can pay the bills next year, that's great. Okay, next is resolution number 41, 2025, sewer deed dedication. This is a resolution of Concord Township Council accepting the deed of dedication for certain sanitary sewer lines and related appurtenances located in the existing right-of-way from J&V Developers for the properties of folios number 13-00-00404-00 and 13-00-0040402, located on Featherbed Lane in Concord Township, Delaware County. I think this has been out there for a while, and this is finally just memorializing everything that's been put in there, correct?
Pretty much. Terry's leaving me, and I'm trying to get everything cleaned up we possibly can under her fortitude. So this is a cleanup item that we've been working towards for a long time. She's not getting out this door before I get all cleaned up.
Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Okay, I have a motion to approve that resolution.
I so
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 42 of 2025 is Concord Township hereby requests a statewide local share assessment grant, the amount of $819,000 from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Financing Authority to be used for an up-level revitalization project of Concord Community Center. Do we have a motion
So moved.
to approve? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next one is resolution number 43 of 2025. It's preliminary final land development plan prepared by Covenant Fellowship Church, owners of 14 acres on Fellowship Drive. It will be approved subject to the following conditions. Number one, compliance with all comments contained in the Benoni review letter dated November 7th, 2025. Copy attached. All the letters being mentioned, copies are attached. Compliance with all comments contained in the Tom Committis Associate Letter, Review Letter dated October 1st, 2025. Compliance with all comments contained in the Fire Marshal's mail dated September 26th, 2025. Number four, compliance with all comments contained in the Delaware County Planning Department Review Letter dated October 17th, 2025. Number five, compliance with the pending Historical Commission review comments. Number six, applicant shall submit color architectural elevations and color board materials for review. Approval by the council prior to the release of the signed plans. Approval of the elevations and materials for the approved building shall be obtained prior to the issuance of any building permits. All building improvements are to be constructed as per the approved architectural elevations, including screening of any rooftop mechanical equipment. Number seven, developer agrees to enter into a development and improvement security agreement prior to the release of the signing plans. Number eight, submission to the township of all required permits and external approvals, included but not limited to the Concord Township building permit and Concord Township stormwater management, erosion, and sediment control permit. Number nine, developer agrees that any future buildings or expansion will require land development and/or zoning board approval. Number 10, plans to be submitted in electronic format acceptable to the township engineer. Number 11, lighting and landscaping must be maintained as per the recorded plans and replaced in kind as needed. Any substitutions are subject to approval by the township. Number 12, an executed operation maintenance agreement as well as contribution to the municipal stormwater control and BMP operation and maintenance fund is required in the amount of $7,805. Number 13, payment of an open space park and recreation fee in the amount of $1,303 per Resolution 5, 2025 shall be made prior to the release of the signed plans. Number 14, all deeds for the properties, legal descriptions, easements, driveway easements, and stormwater maintenance agreements are to be submitted for review and approval by the township engineer and the township solicitor prior to release of the signed plans. And number 15, the applicant shall add all waivers to the plan and there was the granting of one waiver from Section 169H to permit a joint preliminary final subdivision. We have approval of that resolution.
So,
We have second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Applicant in attendance, conditions acceptable to the applicant? Yes, sir, they are. Okay, Merry Christmas. Next is the preliminary land development for 814 Shavertown Road. This is resolution number 44 of 2025. Nate, do we have disclaimer?
Yeah, I think Golden Man let me speak. Go to the next sheet. One more, yeah, next one, there you go, yeah, leave it there. Yep.
Can you make it any bigger? It's not. All right. Okay. This subdivision and plan prepared by G.D. Hoopman, property located at Shavertown Road and Martin's Court with the R2 residential zoning district. We have a resolution in front of us. I guess procedurally I should read this into the record. I think there's some concerns from members of council regarding some of the items in here. I guess we would read this as written, have a motion on it, and then maybe a motion to amend, but we'll figure out how to get to that point so we can cover the areas that we feel need to be covered. Go ahead, you.
You could just, you can just editorialize now and read it once.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I'll have my colleagues chime in, there was some concern with the, trying to find it here, well, the waiver being one, but I think it was also mentioned, number 7 of the conditions, the site visit might be conducted by the township fire marshal prior to the final plan. I understand in the fire marshal's comments, though, there was concern about providing a turning template plan of some sort. I understand there's a pergola or some sort of structure on this site that could interfere with the access or the ability of the fire truck to maneuver on the site, being I think that there's 3 homes on this site, if I'm not mistaken? Yes.
Access to Lot 3.
Yes. And I think there was some concern about that, and then I guess that also segues into waiver number 1 regarding asking for a waiver to requiring an 18-foot wide cartway for private streets. That was something that appears to also be allowed per this approval, and I think I'll rely on my fellow council members to chime in where they feel appropriate, but I think they were concerns to some of us here and would suggest that perhaps we modify those conditions to insert language in there that we would be comfortable with in order to move this forward as a preliminary plan approval. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just, comes to the 2 waivers. There's a reason that there's not 3 private driveways to the 3 homes. There's a reason that they had to do the private street to provide access to all 3 homes. So it's hard to give a waiver on, a way around that. So I'm just uncomfortable with the waivers, both waivers.
Both waivers? Okay. So we're hearing from Mr. Mutchler that he would prefer if we were not to grant either of the 2 waivers. Just throwing that out there for consideration. How about the comment regarding the fire marshal? I don't have his letter, Nate, but was there some language in there regarding the template for the turning of the fire equipment?
Correct, yeah, his comments, I'll read directly. I have no issues with the subdivision, except that the existing pergola on the private street needs confirmation that Conkerville's ladder truck can maneuver through the existing pergola. The easiest way to confirm would be through a truck turning plan. And speaking to Mr. Vasic, additionally, while it's also the horizontal, it's also the vertical aspect of it to confirm that the height is adequate as well.
So if we wanted to embellish that condition number 7 to make it contingent upon, is that an email or a letter?
That's an email, and I did reference that earlier. Comment number 3 specifically references. Condition 3.
Okay.
And then, yes, and then in number 7, again, we requesting, specifically requesting a site visit.
Okay.
So that we, get a set of eyes from our emergency management personnel that is something they can either deal with or not deal with. And we wanted that before the final plan.
Okay, so we got that covered under
believe
item
so.
3. and you want to keep item 7 in there, but I think I'm hearing that
I think 7 could be strengthened to ensure that there's not just a site visit, but that any requirements that, how should we put this?
Well, I think if he doesn't comply with the letter, then he's
But
dead meat.
the letter just sort of says
I
he
guess
wants to
it's-
get out there to confirm it, so that's why I feel like we could strengthen it.
I think the short version is, I think it's inherent in the job of the fire marshal, emergency personnel, that they're reviewing it holistically. And, that open-ended comment is such that until we get a turning plan for the vehicle and a site visit,
That could generate other
that could generate all kinds of stuff. And until we get both of those, it's a little bit of an open-ended, John. And I think it's kind of covering our bases for now.
I mean, I suppose we could just say, full access by, fire equipment must be provided.
So I think that's why he's looking at that. Okay.
Is there a way to not accept
Pardon?
waiver number 1 now and accept it at final, or no?
I think what I'm understanding is we will not grant either of the waivers,
Okay.
okay? And what we're concentrating on is the fire marshal's comments. And as Nate pointed out, in item number 3, he does mention the template or the turning radius for the truck. Comment number 7, Mr. Crossan is suggesting, and I think rightfully so, maybe we should juice that up a little more to make sure that we have just another set of eyes on this as far as fire safety. But I'm not sure what the wordsmithing of that would be.
So it says a site visit must be conducted by the township fire marshal prior to final plan submission to review existing trellis access to lot 3. We could say full access must be provided for in any final
Why don't you write that down?
submission.
When I read this in, you're going to read in number 7. Why don't you write that down? How's that sound?
I have a question for Nate on this waiver for the 18-foot wide cartway. What are they proposing on the plan?
I believe the engineer is here, and I don't want to misspeak on this. Mr. Hoopman, would you like to clarify that with there? I can't read it on this plan right now.
Surely, thank you. Matt Hoopman, President Judy Hoopman's son, who was retained by the applicant to prepare the plans. That waiver, I mean, this is a little bit atypical subdivision in such that we had to use certain provisions in the historical ordinance, all in the effort to save historic resource, the existing dwelling on the property, which I think dates back to the late 1700s. We had submitted 2 sets of plans. The first set actually removed that house. The Historical Commission had a problem with that, so then we resubmitted plans with 3 new houses, and that was an issue, so now we have the plans in front of you. But in terms of the private drive, we are proposing 18-foot wide in the front of lots 1 and 2. And lots 2 driveway, which is the middle lot, veers away from the private street or common driveway before the start of that driveway trellis. So at that point where everybody's concerned about that existing trellis, only one lot, the rearmost lot on lot 3, is utilizing that driveway. So we have the 18 feet servicing all 3 lots, servicing that part of the private road, which is serving all 3 lots, and 2 lots is just the backmost lot. We're looking for a waiver to go back to a 10 or 12-foot driveway. We have no problems with deferring the fire marshal's comments and decisions till final plan. That makes appropriate sense. We have no issue with that. We would also ask that maybe just defer council's decision for the private driveway width till final plan also, because I think that the 2 are kind of linked.
Well, I think if we remove it as a waiver, you can only ask for it as a waiver at the final plan application again.
Exactly. Yeah, if we could have that right, yes, that would.
Yeah, we're going to take it out of the preliminary plan approval.
That's fine.
So most of your driveway is 18 feet. It's just a piece that goes up to lot 3 that would be maybe 12 feet wide?
Right.
But we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think so much it's a turning template for the truck, is the clear distance horizontally and vertically,
Okay.
and that trellis sufficient for
I
the
think
truck?
it's worded with enough wiggle room to satisfy your needs and our needs at the final plan stage.
That's fine.
Okay, so that's what we'll do it that way, okay? We
So
will
do
get-
you drive through the trellis on the road? Okay, so the trellis is remaining after the construction, and you drive through it to get to lot 3, or just lot, or 2 and 3? Okay.
So the trellis is existing?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not proposed?
Not proposed.
It's existing?
It's a heavy timber structure. I don't know if you can see it from the road.
Yeah.
Oh, we see it.
Pass by. I mean, it's a substantial structure. But I understand the fire marshal's concern and perfectly okay.
I remember when the building permit came in for that.
What is its
I'll stop
purpose?
at that.
It's just decoration.
It adds, I don't know, it adds
It looks like
aesthetics,
Venice.
flavor.
Ambiance.
Okay. But there's no, no real purpose, it's just design element?
Correct.
Okay.
Colleen, it's in the-
One thing,
Grapes, grow some grapes around it.
one thing worth noting is that the Lot 3 is the largest lot in the back, and one of the conditions is to deed restrict that from further subdivision. And I would also note that given that the new lot dimensions fall below the threshold for any further use of the historic vision regarding any conditional uses or anything like that. So that was a 5-acre minimum requirement which the current lot has, but the future use of that for any accessory dwelling unit, et cetera, those types of conditional uses are extinguished through this plan.
Well, good. All right, so we're going to have a preliminary subdivision and land development plan dated March 18, 2025. Last revised June 15, 2025, approved by Hootman. And I already mentioned the property. It is a preliminary subdivision land development for Ferrara at 814 Beavertown Road. Subject to the following conditions: compliance with all comments contained in Pannoni Review Letter dated November 7th, 2025, attached as Exhibit A. Compliance with all comments in the HRG Review Letter dated April 9th, 2025, attached to Exhibit B. Compliance with all comments contained in Fire Marshal's emails dated April 10th and July 24th, 2025, attached to Exhibit Z. Compliance with all comments in the Delaware County Planning Commission Review Letter dated May 16th, 2025, Exhibit D. Compliance with all comments contained in the Concord Township Historic Commission email dated September 17th, 2025. Submission of township to all required permits and external rules, including but not limited to Pennsylvania DEP sewage planning module exemption and the PA, DEP, and PES prior to planning recording. A site visit must be conducted by the township fire marshal prior to final plan submission to review the existing trellis and ensure full access to Lot 3. Number 8, an executed operation and maintenance agreement as well as a contribution to the Municipal Stormwater and BMP Operating and Maintenance Fund is required. The total fee amount will be calculated at the time of final plan approval, pending a full stormwater management design. Payment of an open space park and recreation fee in lieu as per Resolution 5 of 2025 is required. Fee to be calculated at final plan. Draft HOA maintenance agreement for the private street and gravel walking path shall be included with the final plan for review by the township and clearly state the requirements, limits, and shared cost of each property owner for lots 1, 2, and 3. The private lot shall not serve as any additional lots behind other than 1, 2, and 3. The deed for lot 3 shall indicate further subdivision is prohibited and there are no waivers granted. We have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay? Now we come to adjournment. And I was thinking about letting Colleen be temporary chairman. I think she might not want to give it up, so. And if she did want to give it up, she should have her head examined. But anyway, so I regretfully I will miss my friend, but I would respectfully ask for a motion. Colleen, if you could make a motion to adjourn your last meeting, I would appreciate it.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.